New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Welcome to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Your hosts are two girls who believe that life is awesome, that laughter heals, and that it's possible to find deep spiritual insights in everyday experience.
Here come the girls. It's more than practical. Here come the girls. Way more than merely factual. If you want to know the secrets of a life, it's free. Listen to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Listen to Girls Behaving Metaphysically.
Hello, and welcome to Girls.
Hello.
How are you, Dr. Natasha?
Yeah, I'm okay. Just got my kids out the door to school, so I'm all right. What about you?
All right is good sometimes, you know.
Yeah. All right is baseline, so I'm good with baseline these days. How about you? How are you?
I'm good. Just, I'm having one of those days. You know those days where you're like, all right, I'm gonna get so much done. You've got the list, you're ready, and like every turn I take, it seems like I don't get anything done. Like the phone rings, or I go back, something else happens, and something falls off a shelf and breaks, and it's just one of those all roads lead to nothing days.
I hear you. Yesterday was productive, but for some reason when it was time to like end the day, I decided to have a glass of wine, and like I was reaching just to turn my lamp over, and I knocked the glass over, and the glass broke and the wine spilled. And I was like, maybe this is a message. Maybe it's not a message. Maybe nothing is anything. That's how I ended my day. So when I say baseline, I'm like, I'll take baseline.
Yeah. Well, I know that's what I mean. It's one of those things where all roads lead to nothing. It's like, maybe this means something really important. Maybe nothing's important, Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So an okay for baseline is good. And I hope you got some things accomplished that you wanted to get accomplished today.
Well, yes. The day's still, it's not over yet. There's still possibility. We'll see.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
Anyway. So here we are. What March? May. See, it's all happening.
No, I hear you. I hear you. That's crazy.
In my world, and May 9th in yours.
That's crazy. May 8th or 9th, May 10th, May 2025. It's all, to me, still just feels like, when did it not be 2020? So.
Well, it seems no matter what month we are in, it is give our producer a raise day. So I think that's a good lesson to, he apparently can stick to one theme. He's not sidetracked. Oh God. Yeah, I know. But it's just, a quarter of the year is gone.
It is. It is. And it is like tax season here in Australia. So I am very aware that half the year is gone because our tax system is on the fiscal year. So, yeah. So sorry, the producer wants a raise. Hey, producer. I looked at my tax. I just, I got to pay the taxation office first. Then we'll look at getting you a raise.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think raises should be in store for all of us. What is a raise?
Yeah.
Maybe we should talk about that. What is a raise?
Okay. Let's talk about it. What is it?
In the world, I mean, if we believe truly that we're making next to nothing, then chances are we're going to continue making next to nothing. So maybe we all just need to raise and lift ourselves.
I know what my accountant told me. Okay, Natasha, no more passion projects. You can't do it. You cannot afford any more passion projects. So
because you're spending too much money doing passion projects?
Because, well, passion projects aren't making me enough money. That's what he means.
Well, and I think that again that's anyway, it's a slippery stuff. This conversation, because I have this conversation all the time with myself, but I mean, no, about monetizing things, and like I have it with my husband all the time about, okay, you can either put some more time into this so that we can really make money at it, or we can just do it the way we do it, and that's really good, and everybody wants it, and we keep giving them the discount, and you know what I mean? It's like we can't. I don't know. We get stuck in a loop sometimes, and I don't know. I don't know if this is an optimistic day for my metaphysical skills to emerge.
I hear you, sister. I hear you. But it's almost Mother's Day, and I will go get myself a new bed today. That is my goal. My Mother's Day gift to myself. I'm getting an adjustable bed.
Nice.
Yes.
That's great.
Which my daughters say, Mom, that's like a hospital bed.
So, well, yeah, and Mommy doesn't want to have to go to the hospital.
And Mommy doesn't want to have to go to the hospital. Yeah.
Mom needs a bed that will adjust to her glass of wine. So
I'm not
anyway.
knocking it over. Yeah. At the end of the day.
What is tax season in Australia? What else is going on in Australia? What else is going on around the world?
We just had our elections, and we basically voted in probably the most progressive parliament. And that was so not on the horizon. Just a couple months ago, they thought this guy named Peter Dutton, leader of the Liberal Party, the Liberals here, the Conservatives, but he had a nickname called Timu Trump, right? The cheap version of Trump. And he was going to win, but he lost miserably. And so we have our version of the Democratic Party staying in power. And I think we even got more Green candidates voted in. So that, because we actually have quite a few parties, like we have two main parties. I'll usually vote Green. I vote Greens usually. And then we do ranked choice voting. So we have to vote like 1 through 6. So every, it's all apportioned. So you can vote for our version of the Democrat and our version of, I guess, would be the progressive. And they still, if they come out like the top 3, they still get voted. And so we have a nice number of Greens represented in our parliament with the leading being our version of the Democrats. So yeah, so that was good.
That sounds good.
Yeah. And voting is just like super straightforward. It's like so easy here. I'm so grateful.
Yeah. What makes it different?
Yeah. Well, Well, there's no like ID, no voter ID, none of that stuff. You just sort of rock up. Oh my God, I'm using Australian phrases. You turn up and you give them your name. And as long as you're like a citizen, you just vote. It doesn't even, or you can vote through the mail. You know, you get bombarded with ballots through the mail. You can mail it in. You can vote early. I voted early. So yeah, it's just like very simple. It's just very simple and straightforward. And even if you show up in like a district that you don't actually live in, but you want to vote, it's fine. They have like a line for those people, and then like a line for the people who, you know. So anyways, and everybody's name. If you are a citizen, you're just on the voting roll.
Nice.
I know, it's so straightforward.
Yeah, that sounds nice. Yeah,
it is. I have to be honest, it is.
Here, all things are the same. That's the best way to tell you about it here. You know, I don't know. I haven't been listening to a lot of news, but I can't even find any that I like. So
I know. Oh my goodness. I still get Democracy Now! in my feed on YouTube, because that's kind of the only sort of social media thing that I'm connected to, and I still get Democracy Now! And it's just like, this is not getting better.
No.
Or maybe it's all a bunch of prayer requests.
Yeah, it's the same thing, different day kind of thing. You know, even if something shifted, you go, are you kidding me? You know, how is this really happening? So then I started trying to read or listen to, you know, something that wasn't about politics in theory. You know, guy went out on a date, single father from on Instagram, took her to dinner, and it was murdered and killed because they wanted it was you know.
Wait, what?
The guy is like,
no, I got the first part, but why? What was like?
Because she's a murderer, and her and her boyfriend had planned to kill them, so they went to dinner, and then afterwards they shot him or whatever. I'm like, what is happening? What is happening? What is happening?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. I just wish we could maybe have like a World Botox Day where like everybody just gets like their major muscles just get injected with Botox, and then they just got to sit still. Just sit still, because you know it paralyzes them. Just sit still.
So we're gonna like put them on a timeout kind of thing.
Yeah, but a forced one with Botox, like gonna Botox your major muscle systems, and you're just gonna sit still.
It's pretty wild. I mean, I know we've had variations of this conversation at different times, but it's like, it's I'm a pretty positive person, and it is interesting to think about. Really, I'd love to just see a snapshot of the world in 20, 50, 30 years. I mean, I don't even know. I don't even know who could be running the country. You know?
I mean, but you're assuming you're assuming there's a country. You're making a lot of big assumptions.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw Deepak Chopra. I think I said this last week. I saw Deepak Chopra on some show he was on, and it was actually a political show. Now I know what it was on. It was on the Midas Touch podcast, and he was just. I remember he just kept saying kind of on and off. He was talking about the use of AI, like the positive use of AI, like not the positive, but like the evolutionary use of AI for spiritual evolution. I mean, it was a really fascinating conversation, but kind of weave throughout the discourse, he would say things like, the earth may decide, humans. Okay, that was an interesting experiment. I think we just seem to have this very egocentric notion about our existence, right? Like it's a fun assumption, but it ain't guaranteed. So, and that's okay, because life does continue. And I think that's the thing that matters to me. Life continues. It don't need to continue in the human form, because Lord knows, I don't know. I don't know. Did somebody say as metaphysicians we have to stay positive? Is that how it works? And hey, what if it is positive that evolution just keeps going and life keeps going, whether humans are here or not? That feels quite hopeful.
Well, I think that those are good questions, and I think the one thing that I truly believe in my heart is that no matter what happens, there will still be cards to pull and signs to believe in all along the way, no matter who's there. So I think it's time for us to pull a card.
Yeah, are you pulling this week?
I can do that.
Yeah, good. Because I only have tarot cards, and tarot just has too many possibilities.
Hello, welcome to the Metaphysical Show, where we offer too many possibilities. Not even possible.
Too many possibilities.
All right,
some I'm not interested in.
Oh, well, then by all means. So this is our segment where we pull a card to give us a sign, to speak to us, to tell us about what's happening, where to go, what to think, what's being called forth or seeking to emerge for us, and figure out how it relates to all this world shenanigans. Mm-hmm. So I am going to pull a Sacred Traveler card. When Natasha says stop, I will. And we'll see what happens.
Right. Let me know when you get started. Have you started shuffling?
I shuffled.
Okay.
I'm still shuffling. Stop? Mm-hmm. Oh. All right.
Okay.
This is Vast Vistas. Can you see it?
Okay. What does it say underneath?
Expand your horizons.
Okay. All right. That's nice.
Come on, dig a little deeper.
No, I'm saying it's nice. I mean, yeah, look, I can take that in two ways. It's funny because on the one hand, I just made a decision that I didn't want to travel this past year, and I haven't felt any inclination to want to travel. I feel like expanding my vistas has been more of an internal process over the last year. But my oldest daughter, we just got her genealogy on her paternal line, and her ancestors are connected to New Caledonia. So we're able to trace back as far as, hang on, I think I have it right here. Did I bring it in here? Here we go. So we were able to trace her ancestry back to 1846 to New Caledonia. No, 1838, New Caledonia. Mm-hmm. So we've decided to take a family trip to New Caledonia. So I will be expanding my vistas and my horizons.
And how far is that? I mean, what kind of a trip?
It's a part of Melanesia. So it's like, down here in the South Pacific. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, most people, I don't know. Most people do. I was like, even when I was like New Caledonia, I was like, what? I'm pretty, well traveled, I think. And even I had to think for a minute, where is New Caledonia? You know, and then like it was great because we ended up doing, like, we watched a documentary on it. It's one of the few French colonies in the South Pacific. Well, I guess no, that's not true, because there's also Tahiti is like a French colony, as a former French colony. But anyway, so yeah, we're gonna take a little trip to New Caledonia.
Okay,
Yeah.
that sounds exciting. So let me read you about the card.
Yep.
Expand your horizons. See the world around you in new ways. This is not a time to think small. It's an exciting time for you. You may find travel or new adventures in your future. Think outside the box. Ideas and projects that you've been contemplating are now moving toward manifestation. Unconventional relationships may flourish. Take time to nurture your dreams, for big changes are ahead. The sacred traveler wants you to know, as the traveler steps out of the woods, the pathway winds up to a high point with a vast vista. The traveler can see it all directions and knows that all things are possible. New and wondrous paths are ahead. The traveler can choose any direction to journey. Get ready for a joyous, expansive journey. Take deep and full breaths. Each breath forms. Sorry, I can't see this. Each breath affirms that you're in an expansive place of life.
Okay. The end. So I'm going to New Caledonia. What does it bring up for you?
Well, I mean, there's actually a lot of travel in my year planned. And what's interesting about a lot of it is that it's planned, because generally I come right down to the wire on it and I'm like, oh my God, what's happening and how am I going to make this happen and all of that. And so it's interesting to have it like in and on a schedule. It's very exciting. But I don't really feel like it's so much about travel. I mean, I get it. I get that theory. I really think whatever the part was where it said, what did it say? How did it say? Be willing to see the bigger picture, more or less.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I think, I don't know. I mean, I would consider you a person who likes to travel, a world traveler, regardless of how much of the world you've seen. You've traveled a lot and you enjoy it. And, and I feel the same. I enjoy traveling. And I think so much of the time when we do travel, it is about being open to a new experience that may not be anything like what we ever have.
Yeah, it's so true. That's so true. I got an email this week, earlier in the week, and it was from when I came and I visited you in the United States, not last year but the year before, but a part of my visiting you was that I went to the Gaia-sphere for that intensive workshop with Michael Beckwith, And I filmed an interview with Gaia while I was there. And someone sent me an email on my my business website and was like, "Oh, I'm in Australia and I can actually read it. So funny. The person is traveling right now on doing spiritual travels, but saw me on that Gaia special, and wants to connect when she gets back to Australia." So it's just interesting. I don't know. It just seems tied in, and it is like a lot. I didn't expect to do a sit down interview with Gaia when I was there. It wasn't a part of the plan.
Right.
Not, you know, so much in going and traveling, you know, is being open to new experiences, but also not needing to know what those experiences like, I don't need to know what they mean. I don't know if this is a phase of life. Like, I don't know, when you reach this age, you know, like you get to this part of life. I don't know. I'm at this point where I don't really need to know all the time what a thing means, you know? And so, or what's going to come of it, or will like there, maybe nothing comes of it. I don't even know that it's like we're just on this journey. We're on this we're having an experience, and when we expand our horizons, I think it's one of the things we open ourselves up to. And the more we can sort of like release expectation, I feel like the more like joyful our surprises can be.
I would agree with that. I mean, I'm, you know, for me, life is a game, you know, and I am constantly entertaining myself. And me pulling a card and thinking, oh, this means this. I'm well aware that I don't know. I don't know what anything means. I'm just making things up that, you know, I'm from MSU. That's all I do all day is make things up about, oh, look, that flower is blooming right now. And it's the only purple one amidst all the white ones. What does that mean? You know, it's like, I just think I feel like I'm literally like keeping myself entertained. I mean, yes, sometimes I believe what I say, but other times I think, you know, what do we know? How on earth could we know?
Yeah. How can we know? Do you ever notice, Robyn, though, like when you really like rest, like, I don't know, find that quiet place, or not find it, but just experience it or realize that really quiet place at the center of our being? It's like, I don't even need to know. Like, I don't even like, actually, I don't want to know, because I feel like I'd interfere. So just like, meaning my small ego self will just interfere. So yeah, it's just interesting.
Yeah, but that's what I totally agree. That's what I'm saying. It's not, I don't know that, yeah, like you said, maybe it has to do with age, maybe, you know, or experience or whatever, but I don't know that I ever need to know. It's not like I really like come looking for an answer as much as I'm entertained by how it makes me think, or what, you know, what comes through. But I mean, I think, yeah, like you said, if we're in the zone, if we're being, you know, true to ourselves, and, you know, there is a point at which, for me at least, that I just breathe and allow the next movement to happen, right? Knowing that it can only be the right movement.
Yeah,
it can be scary, but
it's true. No, there's just the truth to it. You know, on my walk yesterday, I try to, like, because I don't really dance anymore, because like I mean, I dance alone in my house, but I don't do lots of social dancing, because like the culture of social dancing is like an evening activity. And I just, besides wanting to go to sleep when evening comes, and just I don't like missing my, like, I want to leave my kids. I don't even know what's going on. I'm in a different phase of life. So whatever. So I don't really social dance anymore. So I walk everywhere now. I think I've said this before. Like I mean, I have a lovely car. It's really, you know, but it's the only way I get exercise in. Is like, I like walk everywhere. And yesterday on my walk, I don't know. I had the thought of like, because I was feeling this anxiety rise in my body. And I was like, usually anxiety for me is about, it is usually connected to uncertainty or connected to something in the future. Like it doesn't even have to be a particular thing, but it's usually something in the future followed by something that I'm not going to be happy about, or like it's going to be. So that's what I know anxiety to mean. Even if I'm not sure what it is I'm thinking, it usually stops me in my tracks so that I can get clear of like what I'm thinking. And I couldn't during my walks. I was like, you know what? All I know is everything is fine. I know I am held. I know like all is what it needs to be right now in my world, and everything will work out for my good, right? And so literally as I was thinking that thought, right, on my walk, I literally found a $20 bill just laying on the path, like just laying on my walking path. Like, and I just picked it up. I put it in the back of my phone. How pretty are the $20 bills in Australia, by the way? Aren't they so colorful?
Nice.
So anyways, so I found the $20 bill on the path. I was like, okay, that's my little sign, you know? And that's when I go from nothing means nothing to, oh, here's a meaning, right? But then it wasn't, I went to go like take my daughters to go see the bed that I ordered. I only put a deposit down on it because they're quite expensive. And the man was trying to upsell a mattress to me right after that. So, and I was like, yeah, I really would like a mattress, but it's really out of my budget right now, right? It's really out of my budget. And so he was like, well, come back, you know, I'll work out a deal for you. But as we were leaving, because I went to get my daughter a keyboard for her, she's writing this paper. And he was with a customer, and I was like, yeah, no, I don't need to do that. I find my mattress I have is fine. Just get the adjustable bed. That's good enough. Then I get home later that night. I get an email saying like, I got qualified for some special financing that is like 0 APR or whatever for like 2 years or something. And I was like, oh, maybe I can get that mattress. You know, so like everything is just as it's supposed to be. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need to always know or have the certainty. And I think with everything that's happening in the world, particularly the political world that we get sucked into, it's nice to just come back to our little localized experience of our little slice of life. To remember that, yeah, we are connected to something greater. We don't have to know exactly what it is or how it works. I know.
Well, yeah, I think that's right. I mean, I think that's the whole point of why we started to do this, was because yeah, maybe not everybody does it the way we do it, or has taken classes, or has learned from the same person, but it's there's no right or wrong way to do it. And so, you know, as long as we're being true to who we are, all the rest of the stuff we're adding in and making up, trying to live our best life, you know, there's no like one way to do it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why, yeah, you know, some of the most Zen meditations or experiences I had may be picking up dog poop in the backyard, you know, cleaning the yard or doing the dishes, or it doesn't have to look like, you know, sunsets and waterfalls. It's great when it does.
Mm-hmm.
But can you find sunsets and waterfalls when there's just too much poop in the backyard? You know? So it's like, I think that's the point of the whole thing. It's like, how do we do that? How do we create that for ourselves wherever we go? You know, we don't need a deck of cards. How do we look out and go, you know, oh my God, there's a $20 bill in front of me, you know? So it's like, it's not, we get to make it up. We get to be the architects, the designers, and, you know, and we have a co-pilot that will talk to us and will listen if we listen.
Yeah. You know, and this just, it's also just bringing me back to, you know, the Buddhist practice Tonglen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where we purposely do not turn away from suffering, but we use our breath as a point of transmutation for the suffering that we witness. And I don't know, I think one of the things that it continues to be a part of my spiritual practice is, you know, how do I acknowledge the suffering in the world that I see and simultaneously witness the beauty in the world that I see? How do I witness the suffering that I experience inside myself and the beauty that I experience inside myself? And I feel like if we don't find ways to like witness and acknowledge that beauty, then I think we're missing, I don't know, it just feels like we don't have to turn away from the suffering to also witness the beauty, I guess is what I'm saying. And I find myself always walking that line. Yeah.
Well, I think that's a great question to explore after the break. How do we find ourselves? How do we witness the beauty? What, right? That was your question.
How do we witness the beauty and simultaneously witness the suffering? I feel like I've been thinking a lot about the Tonglen, you know, the Tonglen exercise of using the self as a point, the breath as a point of transmutation for suffering. So instead of breathing in the light and breathing out the dark, whatever that crap we do, you know, but like we breathe in the suffering and we breathe out light because we are a point of divine on the planet, right? So we breathe out the light into the world. So anyways, yeah, we can look at that when we come back.
Let's do it. So take a break.
Right.
and get your ideas and thoughts ready to share with us about how we do exactly that. And we'll be right back here in just a minute on New Thought Media Network.
Please help us say thank you to our organizational sponsors, including the Hefferland Foundation, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, New Thought Philadelphia, Planned Happiness Institute, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, One Heart Retreats, Center for Spiritual Living on the Lake, Unity Kitchener, Unity Spiritual Center Ottawa, Om Center for Spiritual Living, Satya Center, Begin Within Ministries, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, Unity of Savannah, and the Center for Spiritual Living Seattle, as well as all of our individual donors. Thank you for being part of the New Thought Media Network. Please like, share, and subscribe. New Thought Media Network, positively inspiring. New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Welcome to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Your hosts are two girls who believe that life is awesome, that laughter heals, and that it's possible to find deep spiritual insights in everyday experience.
Here come the girls. It's more than practical. Here come the girls. Way more than merely factual. If you wanna know the secrets of a life that's free, listen to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Listen to Girls Behaving Metaphysically.
And we are back. Thank you for coming back and joining us. I am Robyn Rice Olmsted.
And I'm Dr. Natasha Wilson.
That's who she is, my friend, colleague, Dr. Natasha Wilson. Yay. So
Are we starting with a question?
We are starting with a question. We are going deep. So get ready, everybody, take a breath. Get your glass of wine or your latte or your, I don't know, get something to drink.
I'm sorry.
It's real.
Yes. Get something to drink.
Get something. All right. So we left with a question of how do we simultaneously basically feel the pain, witness the pain, and experience and feel the beauty, right?
Yeah. Simultaneously.
It's such a good question.
I feel like it's that. I'm sorry, Robyn, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I'm not sure how many creatures can really do all that, but but go ahead.
Yeah. And yet I think it's a requirement right now. It's like we have to be able to walk and chew gum. I remember, in my doctoral thesis that I wrote, which was like looking at, which it took me forever to want to finish it and publish it because of the conclusion that I landed in about race. And I remember when I first landed with this conclusion about how we undo or how we heal this thing called racism in the human experience, where I landed just was not popular, and it scared me, the first reactions that I got. And so it took years before I was like, okay, I'm just gonna finish this thing. And this is where I landed. But basically where I landed is we have to learn how to let more than one thing be true at the same time, right? So in the case of my research, it was like, look, we have to be able to find a way to simultaneously acknowledge that this thing that we think we see called race amongst human beings is a farce. It's not a real thing. There's no scientific basis to it. It's a folk science. It's a pseudoscience. There's only one species of Homo sapien, and it's Homo sapien sapien. Yeah, I don't even care if you have a little Neanderthalis that you can like trace in if you're from Iran or from or Germany. I think that's where the highest allele frequency. But this thing we call race is not real. But we must simultaneously be able to deal with the reality that has happened as a result of a belief in this thing, which is the racism. Because we believe in this thing, we have this social reality called racism. And if we can't hold those two things at the same time, then we're screwed, and we can just let it be what it is, right? Like it's just, we have to do that. And without it, we just reify either denialism or we reify a lie, so we have to walk and chew gum at the same time. And so I feel the same. Here we are right, where we are looking at two nuclear countries with nuclear arms basically about to go into a hot war, right? We have this genocide happening in Palestine. We have all these things all this suffering. We cannot bury our heads or turn away from it. So we must find a way to hold that and then also still hold what is beautiful about the human experience. So is it hard? Yes. Is it necessary? I think absolutely.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I mean, let me just say that as you start to discuss this, I listen to the levels of the amount of work you put into this thought and this theory and all of your degrees and things, and I immediately feel unqualified. Like I don't know. But
Qualify for what?
even just to have this discussion, I mean, but what comes up for me is that yes to what you're saying, and I mean it. This is where I'm so clear. I mean, this is where it becomes like so clear how many parts of this journey is just such an illusion to me. I mean, because there's all of these things happening, or maybe there's only one thing happening, but and supposedly they're all happening at the same time simultaneously. And how do we manage them, or how do we be amongst them, or I don't know. I mean, so yeah, it's I don't know. I get lost in that equation. Does that make sense?
You know that thing that happens when you drop out. Remember I said that keeps happening. I don't know why that's happening, but it just happened again. So can you say it again, please?
Basically, I just said I get lost in the equation, of all the different signs and possibilities, and yeah, and I mean, like, yeah, how do we see? How do we see it? How do we live with the pain and the beauty and all of it at the same time? And then how do we not? I mean, it's all happening.
Yeah. That's what yeah.
What can we do?
Well, that's just it. I think we don't have to reinvent the wheel on a lot of this stuff. I think that's where that Buddhist practice of Tonglen comes in, right? Where we really steal the self, we settle the nervous system, we breathe in the suffering, and really it's where the breath meets the chest or the heart space that we then transmute it, and we breathe out. We breathe out love. We breathe out joy. We breathe out compassion. We breathe out healing. We breathe out something that resembles hope. It's just a spiritual practice. And I think we don't have to reinvent the wheel. I think we just have to sometimes practice. And without the practice, it's always going to be sort of like, well, how do we do it? Well, I don't know. We do it by just doing it.
Right.
So, we do it by doing it.
Yeah. And how, I mean, so I think about, because what comes up for me is people like people in prison, Nelson Mandela, people who are put away, or in a situation where they're stuck in what seemingly seems like not the most positive of places. They're stuck in a circumstance, and they change that circumstance to, I don't know, outlive it, outcome it, you know what I mean? They are, so it's like I mean, you have to be able to go deep to find the, I guess it's the equal calibration of beauty and whatever in it, if it doesn't appear to be that. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. And what it reminds me of is just a conversation, like just either discourses or dialogues or just writing that I've read, whether it's like Howard Thurman or whether it, was Nelson Mandela or Thich Nhat Hanh, may he rest in power. Like, whether like some of the things that they've given to the world through their words and writing, they do have this central thing in common where, or Dr. King, where it's like they're in the belly of the beast, right? Whether it was like the Vietnam War for Thich Nhat Hanh, or apartheid South Africa, or apartheid United States. There was this suffering that made them remember the truth of who they are, right? Their willingness to not relinquish their humanity. You also heard stories like this coming out of the Holocaust, right? People who would not relinquish their own humanity. And it was in that, even though these systems and these people were treating them as less than worthy, less than human, they remembered their humanity and found a way to practice from that place. Remember and practice from that place, not perfectly, not always, but as a core principle, right? To not give over their power, their energy, the beauty of their existence that only comes from source energy, that they were able to transmute those environments and those outcomes, and those environments were still lousy, right? And yet the suffering drove them deeper to remember the who and the what that they are. And so, as I'm listening, as I'm sort of listening to what you're saying and reflecting on our conversation, I feel like it is the essence of that practice called Tonglen, right? Where we don't turn away. If we turn away from the suffering, it's just a form of denialism, and that, no, we turn to it. We see where that suffering lives in us, and we commit to the transmutation of it.
Right.
Just in ourselves to begin, because we can't do anything in the world that we don't do here first,
Right. Yeah,
so
we acknowledge it.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
No, I was like, I acknowledge it. Sometimes I even have to cradle it to think about Thich Nhat Hanh, the way he used to talk about cradling his anger like a little baby, how, because anger remained like the emotional state that I think was like sort of like imprinted in his system from the reality of the Vietnam War. And so anger was the one, the lesson that he continued to work throughout his lifetime. And often he would talk about treating his anger like cradling it like a little baby. And so I feel like sometimes not just even acknowledging it, I think sometimes we have to actually embrace it. We have to bring it into the fold. We have to bring that disavowed, that part of our humanity that we don't want to acknowledge exist. We have to love on it into integration or transmutation. We say integration in terms of psychobabble, but like in spiritual terms, we love it into the light. We love on it into the light.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you bring up a good point too, in that a lot of times it's the places we really don't want to go or talk about, the places where we just want to go, yeah, all good over there,
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Thinking about this is also making me think about there's a new pope, and I mean I haven't been a practicing Catholic for like a very long time, but you know I remember the pope who just passed. One of the things that he did was he washed the feet of so many people, but he washed the feet of female prisoners in an Italian prison. But he like he washed their feet. Like you can't wash the feet of someone if you're gonna deny their suffering, right? Like it's almost like you have to be willing to sit with and embrace that suffering. And again, I still love the practice of Tonglen because we breathe in that suffering and we use our own divine source self as a point of transmutation to breathe out light and hope. And I just think it's the practice for our time. Yeah, like Dr. King never was like, oh yeah, segregation doesn't exist. Let's just pretend. That's all. Nelson Mandela never did that. You know, it was always like, no, we're going to be with this suffering. And we're going to hold on to a higher vision at the same time. And I think it's what we're being called to do. I don't think there's another way. I mean, maybe, you know, if maybe we can use drugs or I don't know, like those things people put on their eyes to be another reality.
I think I think you're right on. I mean, I don't think there's another way. You said it perfectly. Hold on to a higher vision.
Yeah.
And that's all of us, because it doesn't matter where we are. It doesn't matter what point of the game we're at or our studies or whatever. My vision may be different than your vision, you know, but if we're all reaching for a higher vision, something's going to come together in a new and beautiful way.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, someone like introduced me to the best face cream that I am like loving, right? Just to turn it like, you know, like I think we gotta like all of it. Like I think all of it. Like somebody invented this face cream and it is the bomb. Like I'm here for it. Somebody had to hold the vision for that.
Absolutely. And perhaps it was your face that did it. All right. Well, whether it's face cream or, you know, social justice in the world, it's all valuable. It's all worthy. So
it's
hold a higher vision this week, everybody. It's
all us. It's all us. We are everyone. Everyone is us. Yeah.
All right. Have a beautiful Mother's Day.
You too.
Okay. And we'll see you next week.
Sounds like a plan.
Next week. And all the dads out there, have a beautiful Mother's Day. You couldn't do it without us. All right.
Well, you wouldn't be here without it. So remember your mama. Yeah.
All right. Peace and blessings, everybody.
Okay.